One of the very first topics about remote sensing that got me super excited on the subject was how they used LiDAR data to achieve a completely different view of landscapes, particularly in areas with very dense vegetation, where something like an aerial photo wouldn't really be that informative because you're just seeing the tops of the tree canopy. In particular, the way that this was implemented around ancient Mayan ruins in Central America. So the article that I chose was this one from the Remote Sensing Journal. I specifically chose this one because the first really groundbreaking study that did this was in 2009. And so this was a follow-up to that that incorporated some of the advancements in thinking as a result. This is the study area. If you don't know where Belize is, it's in Central America, right here, the red country. And then this is the outline of the country, and the study area in black. That was the 2009 study. The red border is the one from 2013. So it covered a lot more space, in part because they discovered that the original site actually was much bigger than was recognized before that. Traditional archaeological methods sort of are like find a site, excavate it, catalog the finds, in some cases reconstruct, but it gives you something like this image here, right? You have a reconstructed temple, and then there's the tree canopy around it. This exact same area with LiDAR looks like a completely different story that it has to tell. So that's the value of adding that sort of data, because rather than just paying attention to the site, you can look at it in the context of its surroundings as well. Here are some examples of the kind of data that this brings. This is a photograph, just a regular aerial photograph. In the highest relief that you can get, this is the image that you would get from that, which doesn't really tell you a whole lot. But the LiDAR data gives you something like this. So all four of these are from the exact same location. And you can see that there's a much different story that's being told here. This is another example of a site map that's drawn as a result of inspecting the LiDAR data that was added to it. It's almost entirely impossible to see how these sites are interconnected with roads or causeways or clearings or whatever without digging up an entire nation, so the LiDAR data is really adding to the understanding of the sites as connected. These are photographs from the actual study that was discussed in this article, and I like this because it shows an example of a modern day road, but then also an ancient road here that was not even going to be visible to people who were physically present, but the LiDAR data brings that whole story to life. So ultimately you end up with images like this, but since then they've developed this idea even more. There's actually a popular show on the BBC that shows a team hiking around this area in Central America, with iPads, using augmented reality, recreating these whole big cities and pyramids and everything around them. So it's really exciting stuff. It's fun to see, it's fun to watch, and it's neat to see how it's changed our understanding. The possibilities really open up to a future that reinterprets archaeological work of the past and reimagines how that could be experienced and explored in the future. Just for fun, I added this slide. This is me doing research for my first master's, an unmentionable amount of time ago, but it does kind of show why I'm interested in this particular area.